Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a Pokemon that we didn't expect to be talking an awful lot about. You see, Tangrowth has started to be really good over in Japan. Like, I've got 2 winning deck lists that I'm going to show you during this video. And there are others. And yes, incidentally, this deck will survive the rotation very, very well indeed. So you don't need to worry too much about that. It turns out Tangrowth's like really good. Which is weird, right? Because when I made my Tangrowth video, it wasn't terribly popular. And people were just like, we're not terribly excited, Wassy. There's been very little excitement for the Tangrowth that came out in Remix Bout. And actually, yeah. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. So, what does Tangrowth actually do? Well, there is an attack that for a grass double colorless energy lets you flip 2 coins and does 80 damage per head. No, that's not the one we're worried about. The one we are worried about is the one for a single energy that does 10 damage plus 30 more for each colorless energy in the defending Pokemon's retreat cost. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are worried about. And this can add up pretty gosh darned quickly. Because we have ways of increasing retreat cost. And frankly, we have one particular way here with which we are primarily concerned. And I'm sure as a bunch of you have probably already figured out, it's the Absol from Team Up. You see, the Absol from Team Up is pretty gosh darn fun. It actually sees a lot of play, incidentally. The Absol from Team Up is a one-of in an awful lot of decks. What it does is it increases the retreat cost of your opponent's basic Pokemon by 1 energy. Now, generally this is played as a counter for Jirachi. Because you see, Jirachi has a lovely ability whereby if it's your active Pokemon, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a trainer card, put it in your hand, and then Jirachi goes to sleep. You then use Escape Board to reduce your retreat cost by 1 and allow you to retreat even if you're asleep. But then Absol comes out and Jirachi's retreat becomes 2, and now all of a sudden Jirachi no longer has free retreat. And in that specific respect, Absol has seen quite a lot of play. But now what we do is we play 4 Absol. We play a huge amount of Absol. We chuck all our Absol down as often as we can. And now all of a sudden we are increasing our opponent's retreat cost a huge amount. I mean, let's look at some tag team GXs, shall we? Let's look at Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, Pikachu and Zekrom generally has a retreat cost of 3. 3 times 30 is 90. Add the 10 base is 100. Okay, that's fine. You're hitting 100 damage. It's not bad, but it's not particularly great. But now we get 4 Absol on the bench, and now all of a sudden Pikachu and Zekrom's got a retreat cost of 7, which means now you're hitting 220 damage. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, makes a huge amount of difference. Now, this is about the one pre-rotation thing which makes a big difference here. You're losing Choice Band. Because 220 with a Choice Band goes up to 250, and now you're getting a 1-hit KO on Pikachu and Zekrom. I don't think this is a particularly huge deal. Because you should still be comfortably 2-hit KOing for a single energy with a single prize Pokemon. So it's not a huge problem. The other thing which is going to hurt us when the rotation hits is no Guzman. Now, to be clear, everyone's losing Choice Band, everyone's losing Guzman, but you're hurt by it just a little bit more than they are because you're relying on either 2-hit KOing or dragging Pokemon off the bench. You're doing a lot of damage for a single energy, but Choice Band can often put you over the hump. And if it doesn't, you're 2-hit KOing because you need Guzman. Losing those 2 cards does kind of suck. And it sucks for every deck, but I think it might suck a little bit more for this. But let's take something like a Blacephalon, for instance. Blacephalon's great. It looks like it's going to be great post-rotation. Retreat cost of 2, 4 Absol, retreat cost of 6, you're hitting 190 damage, there's a one-hit KO. Ultra Necrozma looks like it's going to be good post-rotation. They've got a retreat cost of 2, so again, with 4 Absol down, they've got a retreat cost of 6, you're hitting 190, they're going down. Something like a Dedenne GX is sitting there with a retreat cost of 1, but with 4 Absol, it's a retreat cost of 5, you're hitting 160, they go down, life is good. And that's kind of the point here. No, you're not getting that many tag team GXs, but you are getting quite a few GXs, and you're getting basically every non-GX, and life is good. If they're a basic Pokemon. You see, ladies and gentlemen, if they're not a basic Pokemon, then Tangrowth becomes a lot less good. Having said that, the most recent big tournament we had was the US Internationals, or I should say North American, and the main attackers we saw there were Pikachu and Zekrom, basic Pokemon, Reshiram and Charizard, basic Pokemon, Blacephalon, basic Pokemon, Ultra Necrozma, basic Pokemon, Zapdos, basic Pokemon, Stunfisk, basic Pokemon, Spiritomb, basic Pokemon. Yeah. Now, the only evolved Pokemon we really saw in the top 16 were Zoroark, which is rotating, and then you've got Persian GX, which admittedly does see a little bit of play and is a really good Pokemon, and one deck that played Lucario GX, which admittedly is a very good Pokemon. The vast majority of the format at the moment is basic attackers. Now, in terms of your other attackers, one of the decks we saw played a copy of Kartana from Unbroken Bonds, 1 Grass Energy, 10 damage, 130 if you've got 4 prize cards remaining, and 1 Grass, 2 Colorless Energy, flip a coin. If heads, put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon until they've got 10 HP remaining. Post-rotation, if you're really worried about not getting KOs, consider playing this with Shrine of Punishment. Yes, you'll have to flip heads occasionally, which sucks, but that might be a way to take down bigger evolved Pokemon. The other list did play a single copy of Pheromosa and Buzzwole, just to give yourself a big, beefy attacker, especially against evolving Pokemon. Remember that Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX, does have that really nice attack that does 30 to the active, 30 to the bench. It's literally called Jet Punch. And against evolving decks, that can help to really slow them down and take out some pre-evolutions before they get going. In terms of energy, we're just playing grass, obviously. In terms of trainer cards, we've got Netball. And post-rotation, we're losing a lot of our options for searching out Pokemon. Netball gets grass Pokemon, that is really going to help you. We're also playing Nest Ball and Ultra Ball, and we're losing them to the rotation, but come on. So is everybody else. Don't forget we're going to have Professor Oak's Setting, which lets you search for free Pokemon of different types and put them on your bench. And between your Absol, your Kartana, your Ditto Prism Star, maybe you even play Jirachi, one of the decks did. Yeah, you're going to have 3 different types you can play around with here, plus you've got your Netball. In terms of supporter cards, we've got a mixture of Cynthia, Lily, and Erica's Hospitality. They are the 3 best draw supporters we've got at the moment, so it probably shouldn't surprise you that we see them popping up in this particular deck. We do play Guzman, which, like I've said, will be lost to the rotation, which sucks, but you're still going to have Great Catcher, which can drag GXs off the bench, so that's going to help you quite a lot indeed. We're also playing 4 copies of Pokegear 3.0 to get your supporters and just help you get set up, frankly. Our stadium of choice here is Power Plant to turn off EX and GX abilities, because you're not relying on them, your opponent might be. You can slow them down. Anytime your opponent is looking to have a faster start and maybe take advantage of Pokemon with lower retreat costs, this will slow them down very nicely indeed. And then we've got a single copy of Pokemon Communication. You'll have to play a couple more of them post-rotation to make up for the loss of the other Pokemon Search. We've got 2 copies of Choice Band, which, like I've said, we are losing to rotation, and that sucks. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher, that's getting rotated, but we did see Lana's Fishing Rod this week. Lana's Fishing Rod lets you search your discard pile for 1 Pokemon tool and 1 Pokemon, shuffle them into your deck. That is going to help, frankly. My apologies, there's actually 2 copies in this deck. and then 1 copy of Reset Stamp, which you can expect to see in every deck going forward. Your opponent shuffles a hand into their deck, draws cards equal to their remaining prizes. This is going to be a staple in every single deck going forward. So, yeah, just expect to see it in every deck list from now on. I mean, when was the last time we saw a Japanese deck list that didn't have Reset Stamp? Probably before Reset Stamp was actually released. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Tangrowth is really good right now. And post-rotation, it doesn't really lose much. The cards it loses, you're talking Guzman, Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, Joyce Band, Rescue Stretcher. The same cards that every deck are going to be losing. And maybe this misses Choice Band a bit more than some other decks, but it's not going to be decimated like a lot of decks are. And it looks like we are still going to have a very, very basic Pokemon heavy format. And that is where Tangrowth absolutely shines. I'm a fan of this deck, and I think it's got a chance. But I'd like to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.